All right. You want to jump to our next caller?
Please. Bob and Gracie called back.
Yes.
Hey, how are y'all?
We are
great.
How are you?
Gracie's asleep. I'm good. I'm sorry about earlier. The geese were flying over, and I lost the signal. So.
I'm glad you could call back.
Geese, buzzards, it's all the same. So holiday stress, I don't do that anymore. I grew up, my father was a rocket scientist, and we had everything. And he didn't want to build ICBMs after they quit sending guys to the moon. So we were on welfare, and I didn't know it. I didn't know it. And so that year we got $5, at a card because father was working somewhere else. Okay. And it's like, wow, that was my first experience with holiday stress, weirdness, kind of let down, weird stuff. I was in the 4th grade. But over the years, I saw the silliness in my dysfunctional family and other families and the, the presents and, look at my present and this, that, and the other. And it was quite interesting. The first year I remember not going to my mother's. My parents separated, go to your dad's at Thanksgiving, I want Christmas, and it was more for us to get together. I called my mother, and I was working in the Arctic for the oil company. And I said, Ma, I can't come home. She says, you make that money while you can, boy. Those were $3,000 days, New Year's, Christmas, Thanksgiving,
right.
So make that money while you can.
Ooh,
but I also
that's really loud.
Didn't miss it,
Right.
I didn't miss the family, So it's pretty, yeah. So I don't do all that. And then when I came back and quit working for the book, I started doing for others on those days, like going to the Salvation Army and volunteering to serve food, and things like that, helping prepare food at other places. It just, that was my gift. That was my gift to people.
That's sweet.
I just, yeah. I'm a drummer, and I always felt like a little drummer boy. I didn't have much. I didn't want much. All I can do is play my drum, and so that's what I do. Just try to do something for others.
I think that's the best way to get to turn it around when you have a experience that you don't want to remember or don't have the opportunities that you used to have. Is to, like Ethan was considering earlier, is to go volunteer. I know that for Thanksgiving, for a few years, there's something called Operation Turkey here in Austin, where I don't know if they're doing it this year, but they have a restaurant that everybody meets up at, and people just donate turkeys and stuffing, and they just make these boxes, and then people will go volunteer to drive. And so they'll just literally just load up your car with styrofoam boxes of Thanksgiving dinner and water bottles and stuff. And then they give you a map, and you just go out to a neighborhood somewhere, and you just knock on people's doors and just give it to them. And it's eye-opening.
Yeah. Give it away. Yeah. I can't eat it all. One of my first experiences with paying it forward, giving back at Christmas, I live in Waco, and there used to be a mall here, and there was an old guy that pushed a basket around, and everybody made fun of him. And so one year I'm coming back from work, on my motorcycle. I got this big old thing of food. It's like, I don't want to carry this thing, And it was either Thanksgiving or Christmas, and I see the old guy, and I pull up, and I go, here you go, take this. And he smiled, and he didn't really say anything, and he handed me a business card, and I just shoved it in my coat pocket. And the next morning, I think I was still staying at my mother's. I was young, and she goes, oh, did you meet that man? Yeah. She goes, well, what did you say? Well, nothing. He gave me this card. It was a card from an attorney, and it said on the back, if you ever need anything, call this number. It's a very eccentric, wealthy man. And because people made fun of him, I don't make fun of people like that. A lot of people make fun of him, made fun of him. And I was one that actually stopped, and I often waved at him and stuff. And I knew who I saw who he was, and he saw who I was as we passed. We never had a conversation or really never met. And she explained who he was. She knew who he was, Mm-hmm. And I went, wow. And she goes, now, how'd that make you feel giving him that food? I said, it made me feel wonderful. I couldn't, I didn't want to carry it home. I couldn't eat it all. It would go bad, Mm-hmm. And so it was a good, it's a, the holiday stress I see people just going in debt, and they feel they have to get this gift for somebody or whatever, and it just trips me out. It blows my mind.
Yeah. With the presents and everything, the responsibility that people take on.
Yeah. I got to do this, or I don't know what their mental health state is. A few years ago, I did show up at my sister's, and I don't really do the gift thing at Christmas. I just don't. And I had recently moved, and I had the essentials: a crock pot, an iron skillet, little things that I don't need a lot to cook. My brother, I knew it was a crock pot. It was wrapped. Well, there was a young lady there who had never seen a crock pot. And she goes, "What is it?" And I said, "Well, here, read the book." "Oh, that would be cool if I had one of those." And I said, "Merry Christmas." And I gave it to her. And my brother blew a gasket. And I said, "You don't understand what a gift is. You give that gift with no expectations."
Exactly.
That's it. And now you're mad because I gave the gift to someone. I re-gifted it to someone. I said, "Don't," so I don't even go around there anymore when he's there. I just don't.
Well, that sounds like a good boundary, though. When people are hurting you and they're not respecting you in that way, it sounds like that's a good time to build a boundary.
Oh yeah, well, just the boundary is there. I don't want to go around. I'm not going to go around you.
Right.
Look, this guy was always a bully growing up. He's never changed, and in his own way, that's just passive aggressive bullying.
Right.
He's not beating me anymore. He's just passive aggressive. I mean, so. And I guess that year too, it was, he talks, people, like he was talking like I wasn't even in the room, talking about me in the room. And I sent him a message. It's like, "Look, you don't have to be this way.
No.
I love you. You're my brother. I don't like you. I don't like how you treat me, but I love you. And so if you want to continue to do that, that's fine. But, I'll come another day, It's, people are a trip at Christmas, weddings, funerals, Christmas, holidays, traditions, right? Oof. Doug Stanhope says about traditions. It's old people's baggage. Quit carrying it around, lose it, let it go. Doing it like this for 50 years. Grandma did it that way. Yeah, look at everybody. They're mad. They're drunk.
Exactly. Nobody's going to the holidays.
They leave. Yeah, you got to get drunk to go to Grandma's Christmas.
Right.
Don't go. I don't know. I surround myself with people or nobody, at that time that want to do things, that want to bring joy to other people, not through presents though, not through, well, I'm going to buy this and they're not going to like me or whatever. I've got a body and I can do physical stuff. I can help cook. I can do the dishes, something.
Hey, Bob, could I
for
ask
other
you
people,
to give your brother a message for me? It's not going to be mean.
No.
So I have I guess you could say like an emotional investment when I find out siblings are fighting. So all I want you to do is tell him this. I had an argument with my brother and I lost him on Thanksgiving. Things did not end well, and I didn't get to speak to him and settle it before he passed. Let him know that. And let him know that not being able to make amends after losing someone is something difficult.
It's a tough one.
You don't want to deal with. And he should just be your brother. That's the most important thing.
I wonder if that's an interesting approach. And I'm not going to say that you're wrong in any way. I wonder if maybe you ask him about himself and try to show him the behavior that you're looking for. I don't know if I'm saying the same thing, but
he is the way he is, and he's not going to change for anybody.
Yeah, and that you can't expect that. And so if you try to change him and he's trying to change you, then that's just, you're missing each other. And so I wonder if both of you, if you were to stop asking anything of him and say, you know what, do what you like, I love you, and just stop there. Don't even say I don't like you. Don't just stop at I love you, and see how he takes that. I wonder.
Yeah. Well, we've had a few moments like, he's really never been in a relationship with a woman long term, And I
Okay.
remember he did show up at my house one day, and he's kicking the dirt and talking. I said, "Shut up. Here's what you failed to." Here's what he failed. No.
Are you working?
No. Here's what he. Yeah. Here's what I told him. I said, when you take on this woman and marry her, you're taking on her family. You know. And he was. He's like, wow. And I go, you're dealing with her stepkids and her kids. Yeah. So he had never done that, and that was a moment that, you know, we were brothers again. You know, and it felt real good.
And then what happened? If you don't mind me asking.
Yeah, well, we continued to be brothers again, and then his wife started getting involved, wanting to get involved in my life. She's a therapy, you know, physical therapist nurse, and who thinks she knows about cancer, you know.
Okay.
And it's like, no, you know, leave me alone. And you know, pumping religion, trying to pump religion into my noggin, and it's just like, you know, just don't do that. You know, you're talking to the wrong guy about religion. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that upset him because I wouldn't listen to her religion, and so we don't talk anymore. You know, and that was the holiday season where, you know, the crock pot was involved. It was that whole weekend thing. So we don't talk. You know, we don't talk. And that's his choice. On his birthday, I always call him and text him and send him an email. I love you. You're my brother. Happy birthday. He doesn't respond. He won't send me. And that's fine. I don't expect that. See, expectations, you know,
Exactly.
things like that, shoulda, coulda, woulda. I don't expect that. But maybe in a way, I know my behavior. I do love him, and he is my brother. But that is my way, maybe in a very small, passive-aggressive way to remind him.
Right.
You know.
You know what? Actually,
You know.
I wonder if it. You know, you're saying that you have no expectations, and I think that that's, you know, a good way to start. But I wonder, and it sounds like you're doing the right thing by having this boundary. But to have expectations, I think, is to respect yourself. You know, to have a set of standards. I require at least this level of respect in order to have a relationship with you, or to want to put effort into a relationship with you. And if I can't get this from you, then what I've heard some people say is, I'm going to cut you off completely. Now, really quickly, when people cut people off completely, that does not mean it has to be forever, right?
Yeah,
it can be complete enough.
Problem.
Right. It can be complete enough to get the message across.
Behavior any better? You just keep cutting people off. You're going to be alone.
Well, but you cut people off when they violate your standards, and then when they to give them the message that you're not going to accept that you're not going to put up with that. And if they want a relationship with you, then you have to come to some kind of common ground. But like, you know, like we were talking about, it doesn't have to be forever. So especially when it's your brother, like you say, you call him on his birthday with no expectation. For example, and correct me, please, if I'm wrong. What I think you mean is that the no expectation isn't that he never ever responds to you or anything. It's that, let's see, I had it and I lost it.
No, I think I know what you're saying. Sure.
Yeah.
You know, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Keep finding that thought.
Well, I was just what I'm trying to get at, I think, is yes, it's good to have no expectations. I just want to make sure that people at least take care of themselves. I guess that's my point. It's just to have that standard. Did we listen?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Bob, I want to thank you for taking the time to call in. I really hope that your brother comes around sometime soon and stops being like this.
Okay, thank you. All right.
Yeah. Thank you, Bob. What a sweet guy.